Welcome. Instead of doing the regular class today on the Parsha of the week, discussing a question, a lesson, a message, and of course, a way to make it relevant, something that we could apply to our lives, I want to share with you a question that I received. It's an important question because it covers a very important topic, and that's the topic of happiness, the topic of joy. One of the key concepts of Hasidic thought, one of the fundamental elements about the Hasidic movement is the need of joy and the emphasis on serving Hashem and in general living your life with happiness, with joy. And it's something which is spoken about, taught about, practiced so much that initially when the Hasidic movement began, they weren't called Hasidim, they were called the Freilicher, the happy ones, the joyous people, because this group was so happy. And it's really not unique to Hasidus. This is a Jewish concept, as a fundamental Jewish concept, that one is supposed to be happy. You should be joyous. And when you serve Hashem, you should do it with joy. So much so that the Torah tells us there are two places in the Torah where it talks about blessings and curses. And the blessing, it says, if a person will do everything he's supposed to, then there are many blessings, many rewards, many gifts that will come to the person as a result of doing the right thing. If, God forbid, they leave the way of the Torah and they worship idols and all different forms of negative behavior, then there is curses, there are consequences. But in the description of the curses, there's a verse there. And the verse says, because you didn't serve Hashem with joy, that's why all of these things are coming upon you. Again, because you didn't serve Hashem with joy. It's not that you didn't serve Hashem. It's you didn't do it happily. Which is a difficult thing to understand because imagine somebody hired you for a job. Mow my lawn. And you come and you do the lawn, you do it well, you trim it, you clean up after yourself. Great job, it's beautiful. And he comes and he says, not only am I not going to pay you, but I'm actually going to punish you. Why? Because when you were mowing the lawn, you didn't do it happily. Is that fair? Is that a reason that someone should be punished? And there should be some type of calamity, tragedy, misfortune, God forbid, because he did it, but he didn't do it happily? Is that the God that we're talking about? Is that kindness? Is that really fair? You do the right thing. You weren't smiling, so you get punished. And the Alter Rebbe in Chassidus talks about this at great length. And he describes a perspective. Imagine a person had some decree against them. For whatever reason, we don't understand God's ways, and we're not going to say that it's because they did something wrong or not, but there's a decree against this person in heaven for something to happen to them. If you are joyous, if you're happy, regardless of what is destined to happen to you, that happiness, that joy will be strong enough to knock out that bad decree against you. Again, if you did something that deserves negativity, or somewhere in heaven there's a decree, God forbid, against you, the power of joy, the effects of being happy, causes that decree should be wiped away. Even if a person is deserving for punishment, joy is that powerful. Being happy, I'm not even getting into making other people happy. Being happy on yourself, on your own, is a tremendous source of blessing for the person that's happy. It's almost like a domino effect. People say, "Oh, the rich get richer." The happy get happier. And that's very true. Happy people get happier. Why? Because in heaven, in the spiritual sense, when you are happy, it causes good things to happen, And more specifically, it takes away any destined negative things. So when Torah says, because you didn't serve Hashem with joy, therefore this is happening to you, this is not the reason why it's happening. It's just a shame that you couldn't avoid it through joy. Because when a person is happy, he wipes away, knocks out, destroys negative decrees against them. Why? How? What is the explanation that through happiness you remove negative things? So Chassidus tells us as follows, and it's a fascinating concept. When you are happy, you're expressing to Hashem that you have faith, that you believe, that you trust, that everything will be okay. Not only that what's happening is for a good reason, but you believe that it's going to be good. And this belief, this trust, this real faith in Hashem brings blessings. It causes Hashem to say, this fellow believes in me, this fellow trusts me, I want to give them everything they need. I don't want them to suffer. And it's a tremendous irony, because when a person is not doing well, and that's why they're not happy, we tell them, if you're happy, it'll change it. Happiness has the power to change it. And it's very hard when a person is in a rut, when they're in a situation where they feel bad about something, and it's really getting them down. They may even be trying to get out of it. They just can't bring themselves to jump out. I'm not talking, God forbid, a clinical situation where medicine is needed or serious intervention is needed. But if a person is not feeling happy themselves, they're not feeling good, they're not feeling joyous, think about the fact that by being joyous, by being happy, you'll turn it around. There's there's a saying from the Baal Shem Tov. King David says in Tehillim, in Psalms, Hashem Shemrecha, Hashem Tzilcha. God is your protector, He is your shadow. Which literally means He protects you and He shadows you. Wherever you go, He goes, just like your shadow. I'm sure you have memories walking with a parent. Outside, you see a shadow, you try to catch the head. I definitely have these memories. Try to step on your own head, it doesn't work. The idea of a shadow is that it's always with you. And that's what King David is saying. Hashem protects me and He's with you. The Baal Shem Tov tells us an additional explanation for this verse. It's not just that Hashem is your shadow. Hashem is a reflection of you. Your shadow is an image of yourself. So when we say that Hashem is our shadow, Hashem, so to speak, is responding the way we do. And the Baal Shem Tov goes on to explain, if you're happy, Hashem is happy. If you're joyous, Hashem is joyous. That's the idea here, that by you being happy, you cause Hashem to be happy, so to speak. And when you cause Hashem to be happy, think about in your own life. When you're happy, you are much more lenient, you're much more giving, you're kinder, you're more forgiving, you're more patient, you're more understanding. You're happy, you're in a good mood. Everyone knows that if you need something from somebody and they're in a good mood, your chances just went up so much. And if they're in a grouchy mood, it's going to be tough. If you could get Hashem in a good mood, and obviously we don't mean literal moods, God is not a changing entity, essence doesn't change, but the idea that if you're happy, Hashem responds in kind, that He's also happy, causes blessings to happen. Not only does happiness wipe away negative decrees, but happiness causes Hashem to be happy. And that even if you're deserving for something, and even if whatever examples we like to use, a person feels that they deserve something that's happening to them, it'll change. Because you want something that you don't deserve, but if Hashem is happy, please take it, enjoy. That is such an important concept, such a difficult concept. to do. To have that happiness, knowing that it'll lead to more happiness. I tell the story of a great tzaddik who explained how come the Hasidim are always happy, they're always joyous, they're always around, they're happy, they're clapping, they're dancing, they're singing at every opportunity. Come on, it's like strange. Why are you so joyous? What are you so happy about? And even if you're so happy, why are you jumping and dancing? And he said, I'll give you an example. There was once a fellow who came to the marketplace and he started to play beautiful music. And it was really lively. And people around started to clap. And then they started to dance. And then they started to sing. And before you know it, the whole marketplace was jumping up and down, singing and dancing and jumping. And it was lively beyond. Some fellow walks by who unfortunately, heaven forbid, was not able to hear, he was deaf, and he sees people dancing, and he thinks, out of their mind. In the middle of the marketplace, you're dancing? What he doesn't realize is that in the middle of that whole circle, there's a guy playing music. So when you hear the music, said the chassid, you dance. You may look from the outside and wonder, hey, why are they so happy? What are they so joyous about? But then you realize that they have a perception, they have a realization. They're tuned into something which is causing them to be happy, and therefore they're joyous. Therefore they're singing and dancing. We as people need to take a moment and think about blessings in our lives. Think about the goodness that's happening. Think about blessings that you have. Use those, and they will help you to have that happiness. When you reflect for a moment and you think about the blessings and the good things in your life, it causes the person to be in a good mood. Even if there's areas that are not so good, God forbid, or I should say not so good yet, and we're hoping and we're praying and we're faithful that they should be good as well. But everyone has something they can look back at and say, it's better than it was. They could say this is good for this reason, for that reason. This is amazing. This is blessed. Focus on those. Think about those things. Tune in to the blessings of life. And you'll find yourself also joyous, dancing and singing. And then what happens? The happiness leads to Hashem being happy, which wipes away negative decrees against you, which causes that you should be able to have more blessings, even if they're not deserving. May it be speedily in our days the ultimate joy, the ultimate happiness, coming of Mashiach's Meir of Yameinu. Thank you for joining. Subscribe, share. Hope to see you soon.